Okay? Okay, mag-isip tapos sa lahat. Sino mga paborito mo sa klase? Yung mga marunong, di ba? Yung Francisco, no? Yung mga nagbibigay ng nagkakawa sa mga, okay? Yung polite na polite, sir. Carry your book, sir. Sir, this is what we Sir, good morning, sir. Okay, okay. Hindi eh. Kung si Cristo nakatayo sa lugar mo, sino mo paborito mo sa klase? Yung hindi nag-good morning. Yung absent na absent. Yung nagpak na nagpak. Yung hindi nakikinig sa'yo. Yung bastos. Yung there is green and there is only other. The arms of Christ are stretched out. And I can almost hear the lady whispering to the ears of Gabriel, exaggerate, distort reality to come out of the truth. Distort reality to be able to bring out the truth. Kasi billionaire ba, kasi ito, si Henry, hindi malaman kung saan papatay ng susunod na SM, no? Alright? Whether hindi mo malaman kung saan lalagay yung pera mo, no? Or whether ikaw yung batang pinanganak sa kariton at mamamatay sa kariton. Millionaire and pauper. Tanggap. Whether ikaw yung PhD na nililigaw ng Ateneo para magturo, because ang daming PhD, no? Okay? Ang daming depression ng pangalan mo. O ikaw yung grade 2, o na hindi na pumasok, o drop out na. Whether ikaw yung pinakamarunong o pinakamumang Christ says, come. Whether you're as pure as Mary, without a stain of sin, or whether you're Magdalene, okay, naputaching, the answer ka in the room. Whether you're the boy who goes to Mass every day, or whether you're the man, okay, who all right, the last morning was all right, he's riding in his, this is a real story, he's riding in his Beetle car, he's come from a party, I don't know whether he's tipsy, I don't know whether he's drunk, he's going up the overpass this way, hindi niya nakita, all right, there's a big 6x6 coming up on the other. Nung nag-discover siya, yung kanyang Beetle nasa ilalim ng 6x6. Whether you're that guy, at the end of life, the last 30 seconds of life, say, God! That's it. Saved. That's why the arms are extended. That's why there's an exaggeration. That's how much God needs you. You can give up on yourself, but God never gives up. The rain. What a teacher can do. Send us younger Jesuits. Let me end with this. Just itong reflection namin kanina sa mga pagbabaw. Sa Cebu, I'm going back there. Also, I'm sorry, Father, na klase yung mission niya.
No problem.
I like this. I live because I read. And I have a collection of the things I love to read. And I live. I struggle to live the Ignatian spirituality because I'm a teacher. Perhaps the biggest reason why I am a teacher is because I don't want to forget what the Jesuits have taught me. And the best way to remember what the Jesuits have taught me is to teach it myself. Because you're going to teach something that you don't know. The boys are very perceptive. They know if you're plastic. They know if you're the real thing or you're faking it. You cannot fake it. Here's our reflection of this Holy Spirit. Especially, perhaps I like it because I am what I am. But as I look at you, nakulog ng mga umagatin, nalagas ng buo, o hindi na tunay yung ngipin, o perhaps you like it because of that. Okay, okay. He says, it's written by Jacques Reimer, I don't know who he is. He says, on November 18, 1995, Isha Perlman, the violinist, concert violinist, came on stage to give a concert at Avery Fisher Hall in Lincoln Center in New York City. If you've ever seen Perlman, if you've ever been to a Perlman concert, you know that getting on the stage is no small achievement for him. You see, Perlman was stricken with polio as a child. And so he has braces on both his legs. And he walks in the aid of 2 crutches. To see him walk across the stage one step at a time, painfully and slowly, is an unforgettable sight. He walks painfully yet majestically until he reaches the chair reserved for him. Then he sits down slowly. He puts his crutches down on the floor and thus the clasps on his legs, tucks one foot back and extends the other foot forward. Then he bends down and he picks up the violin, puts it under his chin, and nods to the conductor. And then he proceeds to play. By now the audience is used to this ritual. They sit quietly while he makes his way across the stage to his chair. They remain reverently silent while he undoes the clasps of his legs. They wait until he is ready to play. But this time something went wrong. Just as he finished the first few notes, one of the strings on his violin broke. You could hear it snap. It went off like gunfire across the room. There was no mistaking what that sound meant. There was no mistaking what he had to do. People who were there that night thought to themselves, we figured that he would give up, put on the clasps again on his legs, pick up his crutches, and lift his way off the stage to either find another violin or else to find another string for the one that snapped. But he did not. Instead, he waited a moment, closed his eyes, and then signaled the conductor to begin again. The orchestra began. Can you imagine? 8 people, all right, but in the orchestra, the conductor, and he's the star of the show. The orchestra began, and he played from where he had left off. And he played with such passion and such power and such purity as they had never heard before. Of course, anyone knows that, and you know that. But that night, Ishak Perlman refused to know that. You could hear him changing and recomposing the musical piece in his head. At one point, it sounded like he was detuning the strings to get new sounds from them that they had never made before. When he finished, an overpowering silence filled the room. And then people rose and cheered. There was an extraordinary outburst of applause from every corner of the auditorium. They were all on their feet, screaming and cheering, doing everything they could to show how much they appreciated what he had done. Ishak Perlman smiled. He wiped the sweat from his brow, raised his bow to quiet the crowd, and then he said, not boastfully, but in a quiet, reflective, reverent tone, you know, sometimes it is the artist's task to find out how much music you can still make with what you have left. With what you have left. What a powerful light that is. It has stayed on my mind ever since I heard it. And who knows, perhaps that is the way of life. Not just for artists, but for all of us. Here is a man who has prepared all his life to make music on a violin of 4 strings, who all of a sudden, in the middle of a concert, finds himself with only 3 strings. So he makes music with 3 strings, and the music he made that, the music that he made that night with just 3 strings was more beautiful, more sacred, more memorable than any that he had ever made before when he had 4 strings. So perhaps our task in this shaky, fast-changing, bewildering world is to make music at first with all that we have. And when that is no longer possible, to make music with what we have. The hair falls, the teeth falls, the knees shake, the voice quivers. I begin to run out of breath. I begin to lose my memory. I begin to call people by the wrong name. But give up, resign, that is not in my vocabulary. That is for the board of trustees to decide. Mr. Patsy, you're too old. I heard you speak. You can't convince us anymore. No more. This is the last speech.